The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
What's so funny about this clip is that after I watched it, it was just so interesting to know just like how many like people that are hating on Kendrick after his Super Bowl performance, how many leftists, how many Drake fans, how many Barbs, how many crazy folks, like just how many people who are on the internet talking shit about Kendrick's performance have been using the fact of like, oh, he's talking about the revolution will be televised, and that's absolutely wrong. Clearly the revolution will not be televised. You need to get out in the streets and work. See, this is cosplaying, blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff, right? And it's just so interesting that after seeing the explanation of what the actual phrase meant.
The catchphrase, what that was all about, the revolution will not be televised, that was about the fact that the first change that takes place is in your mind. You have to change your mind before you change the way you live and the way you move. So when we said that the revolution will not be televised, we were saying that like that the thing that's going to change people is something that no one will ever be able to capture on film. It'll just be something that you see and all of a sudden you realize, I'm on the wrong page. Or I'm on the right page, but I'm on the wrong note. And I've got to get in sync with everyone else to understand what's happening in this country.
You really got to think about what's being said. But you know that's a hard task when you can't even recognize context clues. So let me try to help y'all out a little bit. When we think about the revolution will not be televised, right? When was that created? 1970s. Sometime we're in that space. You in the 70s. The revolution will not be televised. It's a great message. It's absolutely spot on. It's perfect, right? So thinking about that, 1970s, the revolution will not be televised. In 1990, they asked him again, so will the revolution in the 90s be televised? And he gives his explanation as to what the phrase even meant. He didn't even answer the question. He gave his explanation as to what the phrase meant. He said, when I first said that phrase, what that phrase meant is that the first change will happen within your mind. You will not be able to see something because it will not be able to be caught on film, right? Keep this in mind. He said that in the 90s. About a phrase that was created in the 70s. The revolution will not be televised. In the 90s, he says it will not be filmed. It can't be caught on camera. If you're in the 90s and it can't be caught on camera, why can't it be caught on camera? Because cameras are not as accessible as they are now. So when we think about today, it's 2025, it's a camera everywhere. You can have a camera on a phone, on a gaming system, on a watch, on like literally you can have a camera on anything. It's cameras everywhere. So if in 1990s he's saying, well, the revolution won't be televised because everything is not filmed, and it'll just be something that you see that like sparks something within your mind, and it probably just won't be televised, right? He wasn't saying that only real work happens in the streets. He's saying that for the revolution to start, you have to be the one to know that there needs to be a revolution in the first place. And during the time he was in, shit wasn't filmed. So of course it won't be televised. You're just gonna have to interact with the real world and see what those things are. But now in the spaces that we're in today in 2025, everything is televised. Everything is recorded. It's cameras everywhere. So for the people that are trying to use that as a disqualifier of Kendrick's like revolutionary art, that's a problem because you're actually wrong. You don't even think about the context that things are being said and even created to understand what they even mean in present day. Something else that I think is so interesting is that folks try to make it seem like, oh, Kendrick is a rapper. He is just cosplaying because, you know, he's just getting a check and he's just performing. Where did the phrase the revolution will not be televised come from? And it has been just like such a huge foundational aspect of so many works of activism. Where did that phrase come from? A fucking song! So you mad at Kendrick, that's a rapper, who's rapping a song because you don't like that he used a revolutionary phrase that was from a song? Like, do y'all really think stuff through before you start to talking? I just really can't understand that. And then even to take it a step further, when people are proud of Kendrick's performance, when they are impacted by it, when they want to share and talk about it, y'all just tell them to shut up and then shut it down as if they're saying anything wrong. What's so interesting is that I seen this tweet on Twitter where Nina Turner put up a poem of Langston Hughes' I Too over a picture of Kendrick's performance. And if you read the poem is very, very, very reminiscent of Kendrick's performance. Like they have similar themes. People are in the comments talk about, oh my God, y'all is overdoing it. Oh my God, symbolism this. Oh my God, what is going on? Blah, 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 blah. And then like they like try to frame it as Langston Hughes was doing real work. He was doing this. He was over here. He did this with the NAACP. Da, 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 da. Regardless of even if that's true, Langston Hughes was a poet. And what is poetry? Art. And what is rap? A derivative of poetry. So I'm just trying to understand, like, why do y'all be upset when we draw the connections between our historical figures and what's happening present day? Can you not see the similarities just because Kendrick's performance wasn't in black and white? Like, y'all need the stuff to be in black and white to realize that it's also revolutionary art as well. Like, I just don't understand why people cannot connect the dots as to what's happening right in front of them, but then got the nerve to open up their mouth and say some crazy shit. And then y'all got the nerve to be talking about that it's propaganda. What's the propaganda? If you believe that it's propaganda, I'm not gonna say that you're wrong, but what I want you to do, explain it to me. Like, what's the message? Like, what is the propaganda that's being said and spread? What propaganda was that performance actually spreading, and why would you assume that it's American nationalism? Like, I just want you to break it down for me. Like, show me where those things intersect. That's just what I want to know. Because based on what I know and how my brain works, y'all brains are fried. I read this very good Substack on this same, like, topic, and it just speaks to the fact of, like, people are trying to compare Kendrick to Nina Simone, who's also another artist, right? And trying to say, like, oh, he isn't doing anything revolutionary. Nina's songs were actually banned from places, and she couldn't perform here, and she lost this check, and da-da-da-da. That's all true, right? But think about it. Why do you think Kendrick's songs are not getting banned in places? Why you think he can still perform these songs and do this imagery anywhere he goes and still get paid? Because of the work that Nina Simone did. What, you want him to time travel and go back in time just to get fucked up so y'all can be happy about the art that he's created? Like, I just don't understand. What's the goal? What do y'all want? What do you want the outcome to be? Like I said before, everybody has a role. If you think that his performance wasn't revolutionary enough and you want some material changes, get in the motherfucking streets and get some changes for us. Put them motherfucking boots to the ground and get to working. If you don't like what's happening, you can change it. Why is that so hard to understand? I don't know. But what I want y'all to do from this point moving forward is try to understand what's happening. Try to understand the context clues and try to connect the dots. That's all I got. I love us for real.
Pardon me. Pardon me. Pardon me.